Hey YouTube, back again, this time with my NFL Week 3 wrap-up. And let's get right into it with this week's scores. The Thursday night game, of course, my New York Giants. They were on the road at the Carolina Panthers. And the experts said that we were going to lose. And everybody said we were going to lose. And no one was going to show up. And we were too banged up on offense. And guess what? We came out 405 yards of total offense, including 113 on the ground from Andre Brown and 2 TDs. The Carolina Panthers turned the ball over 5 times. We didn't turn it over a single time, and we whooped them in Carolina 36-7. Next up, we had the St. Louis Rams travel to the Chicago Bears, a matchup in 1-1 in teams, and it was not a very good offensive day. Neither team went 300 yards of total offense, but the Bears would pull it out 23-6. Then you had the Buffalo Bills and the Cleveland Browns in a not the prettiest of games in terms of who was playing, but the Bills proved that they were just a little bit better than the terrible Browns. C.J. Spiller got hurt in this game, but the news is he will not be back for this next game, but Fred Jackson will, and will be the starting running back for the Bills, as the Bills won 24-14 behind Ryan Fitzpatrick's 3 touchdowns. Then you had the Cowboys taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Dallas, and a lot of people expected the Cowboys to run away with this one, but they really didn't. They just held them off and won 16-10. Romo had 283 yards. Really no rushing attack for Dallas. Their leading rusher, DeMarco Murray, 18 carries for 38 yards and a score. Next, we have the most exciting game of the week, possibly. The Tennessee Titans and the Detroit Lions, a battle of 1-1s again. No, the 0-2 Titans and the 1-1 Lions. Most people expected the Lions to win, so did I. But wow, what an overtime thriller after the Lions fought so hard to come back in regulation. The Titans win in overtime 44-41 behind my boy, University of Washington grad Jake Locker, who had 378 yards and 2 touchdowns, and also was a leading rusher for Tennessee, considering Chris Johnson sucks. Next up, we had the Jags and the Colts in a who's worse matchup once again, and the Jags proved that they're not that bad. Andrew Luck played well, 313 yards and 2 touchdowns, but didn't complete half of his passes. Blaine Gabbert didn't either, but it was Maurice Jones-Drew rushing for 177 and a touchdown that really got the Jags going and on their way to a 22-17 victory. Next up, we have the second overtime game of the week. It was the New York Jets barely edging the Miami Dolphins 23-20 in overtime. An interesting development in overtime. I was watching this game. The Miami Dolphins did the stupidest thing, in my opinion. I think it's so stupid that people ice the kicker. I really don't see what kind of effect it has. But they choose to ice Nick Folk but Nick Folk kicks it anyway. The kick gets blocked, but instead the Dolphins coach had called a timeout. They tried again, and the Jets' Nick Folk hits the game-winning field goal. Sanchez sucked in this game. He had 306 yards, but sucked. Next up, the Vikings and the 49ers. The upset of the week, no debate. Vikings win this one 24-13, not even that close. Christian Ponder played unbelievably, 198 yards, 2 touchdowns, but it goes past, the stat sheet. And the 49ers, they're a team that doesn't turn the ball over that much, but they turn it over 3 times. So that's rare for a 49ers team, and maybe they're not the best team that we thought, but I think they're still pretty good. Next up, you got the Kansas City Chiefs, the third overtime game of the week. Maybe a slight upset over the Saints in a battle of 0-2 teams. How about that Chiefs offense? 510 yards of offense, led by Jamal Charles, 33 carries, 233 yards, and a touchdown in the overtime thriller, 27-24. Next up, Cincinnati Bengals. They were taking on the Redskins. Robert Griffin III had 221 yards through the air, 85 through the ground, a touchdown both ways, but was outshined by sophomore Andy Dalton, 328 yards and 3 touchdowns, as the Bengals would win it 38-31. Next up, we had a battle of 2-0s, Cardinals and Eagles. The Birds going at it in Arizona, And who would have thought that the Cardinals continue to roll their first 3-0 start since 1974? Mike Vick, what can you say? I'm seeing that the Philadelphia Eagles had 3 turnovers. Didn't really watch the game, but I'm assuming that he was part of that because he turned the ball over 9 times in 3 games this season, fumbles and picks. So he's not so great. Larry Fitzgerald had a big game, and the Cardinals won 27-6. All right, then the Falcons and the Chargers, another battle of 2-0 teams, and the Falcons would win, taking the Chargers 27-3. Houston Texans over the Broncos, 31-25. Matt Schaub, 4 touchdowns. Oakland Raiders over the Steelers, 34-31, despite Roethlisberger's 384 yards and 4 touchdowns. And in a thriller, wide receiver Torrey Smith, who just lost his brother this week, had a humongous game. 6 receptions, 127 yards, and 2 touchdowns as the Ravens would beat the Patriots by 1, 31-30. And of course, the controversy. Seahawks over the Packers, 14-12 on a last-minute Hail Mary that was picked off. But wait a minute, no, they called it a touchdown catch for Golden Tate, one of his 2 on the night. So let's just go over the main storylines, and obviously that is the main storyline right there. The controversy on that call, obviously. What do I think? It's simple. Packers won the game. Give them the win. Give the Seahawks the loss. Do the right thing, NFL. But, of course, no. They want to respect the purity of the game. The call's the call. Can't be changed. I think it's the stupidest thing. Obviously, everybody can see the clear call, which is that the defender picked it off. Why would you not change it if you know you made the wrong call? I don't understand. I don't understand. Do you want it to be wrong? I just don't get it. Your quality performers this week, Ben Roethlisberger from Pittsburgh, 36 of 49 for 384 yards and 4 touchdowns at Oakland in a loss. Jamal Charles, 33 carries, 233 yards and a touchdown in a win. And A.J. Green for Cincinnati, 9 receptions, 183 yards and a touchdown in a win. Any more main stories? Let's see. Cam Newton's a powder. He pouted all the way through the game as he got destroyed by the Giants through 3 picks, and pouted in the press conference and pouted on the sideline. Any more main stories? Jake Locker is a boss. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And we've only got 2 0-3 teams at this time. The 0-3 Cleveland Browns, they might go 0-16. They're so bad. And then the 0-3 New Orleans Saints, who aren't that bad, but oh my God, they wish they had Sean Payton back, don't they? So much. Stop. No bounties. This should be a lesson. No bounties, or else your whole team's going to get messed up. There are 2 3-0 teams. The Houston Texans. Hooray for the Houston Texans. Their first 3-0 start in a while. And the Arizona Cardinals. 2 teams maybe that you didn't expect to be 3-0 at this point in time. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. And I will come back at you probably Friday or Saturday with a NFL preview for Week 4. See you guys later.